Maybe sitting on your block today, maybe sitting on a pillow, maybe laying down on your back, on your side, on your belly, whatever position it is that's going to bring you the most comfort as we start our practice here. Either closing your eyes or taking your gaze maybe down to the floor in front of you or up to a spot on the ceiling. Just shifting your focus inward, taking these first few minutes to check in on your body, on your mind, how you're feeling today. Maybe simply just noticing your breath. Noticing where you're feeling the breath. Taking this time to maybe do a full body scan. Noticing any places that might be holding tension or causing you any pain or discomfort, and being mindful of those places today, as each day is different and brings new challenges. I know it's allergy season too, especially right now. I've been waking up with super itchy eyes. So if you're feeling any of that congestion in your nose today, being mindful of that, especially as we move through any inversions where our head is below our heart. I invite you to think about and explore your diaphragmatic breath. So breathing in from the belly up into the chest, that deep inhale, exhaling from the chest back down to the belly. Feeling free to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly if you want to focus on that feeling and sensation of the breath. Again, breathing in and out through the mouth or the nose, whatever feels the most comfortable to you today, the most accessible. As you inhale, think about filling your belly like a balloon, feeling that core strength, the abdominals. As you inhale, the core engages. As we exhale, the core releases and relaxes. Breathing into your heart center, maybe setting your intention for your class today, your practice today. And remembering that we can start to find our own comfortable breath at this point. Maybe not having to think about it as much. I invite you to think about that 3-part deep diaphragmatic breath as we move through our practice today. But also knowing that you can breathe in a way that feels best for you and your body today. Letting go of any tension, letting go of any judgment, competition, and expectations. Simply focusing on listening to our bodies today. Always remembering that we can bring our focus back to our breath. And knowing that we are in control of our practice and we have the power of choice. We can choose whatever option feels best for our bodies today. Wherever we are, let's just take our hands either on our thighs, down by our sides. As we inhale, we'll start to explore a little movement in our arms. So lifting our arms up and overhead. Maybe they come over the shoulders, maybe they reach all the way to the back. As we exhale, we release the hands down by the sides. Maybe they're straight up and over, maybe they're out to the sides, whatever feels best for you today. Starting to engage our shoulders, our rotator cuff. Deep inhales, lengthening our exhales. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. Nice and slow and steady. On our last exhale, let's slowly bring our knees into our chest, grabbing underneath our hamstring on our thighs. If we're seated, we can just pull our knees in. Maybe rocking side to side if we're on our backs. Massaging that low back if it feels good. And then from here, we'll take our knees to the ceiling, our feet to the floor, right in front of us where it feels best, hands by the sides, moving into some bridge flow here. So pressing into our feet, feet below the knees. As we inhale, we lift the hips up to the sky, maybe pulling the belly button into the spine, finding a little posterior pelvic tilt. As we exhale, we slowly lower our spine back down to the mat. And just moving at our own pace here, inhaling to lift the hips, feeling the glutes, the hamstrings, the low back, and exhaling to lower. If we want to add on here, another option as we inhale, we can lift our arms up to the sky, maybe pressing up onto our shoulders, exhaling, lowering the hands and the hips back down to the floor. Taking 2 more rounds of our bridge flow, warming up that back body, warming up our core. And then we'll meet back on our mats. Walking our feet out to the long edges of the mat, the hands can come a little wider. All we're going to do is windshield wipe our knees side to side, finding that little bit of internal and external rotation in our hips. Only going as low as it feels good for us today. Feeling free to hold on one side or to gently move with our breath side to side. Enjoying this nice little release for the hip flexors, the quads, the low back. And then when we're ready, we'll bring the knees back to center, pulling them into our chest one last time. We can rock side to side. We'll slowly either rock ourselves up to the top of our mats or drop the knees over using our arm to press ourselves up. And from here, bringing our hands to the front of the mat, knees under the hips, finding that quadruped or all fours position. Maybe checking in with how the wrists are feeling here, how the feet are feeling here. Maybe rolling out our wrists. We can also always find that fist for wrist. As we come into this position, think about pressing into that soft spot below the thumb where the thumb meets the palm, spreading the fingers. As we move through our cat and cow, inhaling, starting with the hips to the sky, belly drops, heart, chest lifts, eye gaze lifts. Exhale, chin to chest, reversing that direction. Inhaling to our cow and exhaling to our cat. Really thinking about your spine here as one unit, full range of motion. Maybe one or the other of these feels good for your body today or better than the other. Feeling free to stay in that place of goodness. Feeling free to explore any other add-ons or options to your cat and cow today. Maybe that's a little tail wag. Maybe that's circles in your hips. Maybe you're feeling some tightness in the body from what you did this weekend. Taking time to check in with the body here. And then we'll take one more round of breath. Coming back to our all fours, hands and knees when we're ready. From here, pressing into our right hand and our left knee. So really think about grounding down into that knee, pushing the hand and the knee through the mat as we inhale. The left arm reaches out in front of us, and then the right leg extends. So we're still pressing into the opposite hand and foot, and then reaching with the opposite hand and foot. Heel presses to the back of the room. As we exhale, we switch and move to the other side. So first step, pressing the knee and the hand into the mat. Inhale, right arm, left leg in our bird dog pose. Taking this side to side at your own pace, starting to engage our muscular slings, the muscles that connect our shoulders to our hips. Elongating your spine, feeling the hip flexors and the muscles that surround our spine and the back of our body. our lumbar spine, our thoracic spine, cervical spine. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath, maybe 1 round on each side. And then coming back to our all fours, hands and knees. From here, taking our right foot and rotating it out to the side. So we lift that right foot, toe comes out to the side like a kickstand. As we press into our right hand, we open to find a side plank. Right hand down, left arm might want to reach up to the sky or come to the hip. We can also use our block here in any position to find a little bit more elevation, a little bit more support. Taking one more big inhale here as we open through our side body. Exhaling, releasing that hand back to the mat, bringing the right knee in, the left knee down, and we'll switch sides. So this time we lift the left foot comes out to the side, we open to the other side. Right arm to the sky, opening through our hips, stacking our shoulders, finding our breath here. One more inhale. Exhale, releasing the hand back, releasing the knee back, and finding that all fours. From here, we'll take our knees to the long edges of the mat, tops of the feet down. We sit hips to heels to find child's pose, whichever version of child's pose feels good for us. So any folks that might be feeling sinus pressure in your heads, we can find the block here to keep the head above the heart. Maybe rocking side to side, massaging the forehead. Option to stretch the arms out in front of us or behind us, whatever feels best. Child's pose is an inversion, but it's also an option for a rest pose. Knowing at any time in our practice, we can find this pose or any other rest pose that might feel good for us. Feeling the breath in the rib cage here. So maybe finding some lateral breathing through our ribs in the back of the body. Taking one more round of breath here. And then when we're ready on our next inhale, we'll extend our arms out in front of us, slowly lift ourselves up, coming back into that all fours as we shift into our plank with our knees on the mat. So hands under shoulders, spreading like starfish with the fingers, hips in front of the knees. As we exhale, if we want to, we can come halfway down, elbows in. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, child's pose. If we want a little more to explore a little more here, inhaling forward, exhaling, we can come into that chaturanga all the way down to the mat. As we inhale, we press back up to plank using our little upper body strength. Exhale, child's pose. The next option, if we want to add on to this, inhale, shifting forward, exhaling, chaturanga down. Tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale as we lift up to find our baby cobra. Hands lift off the mat, squeezing through our glutes and our shoulder blades. Exhaling, sitting back, child's pose. So this is our half series. We can continue to explore this here. Let's take 2 rounds of our half series in whichever option feels good for you. The push-up, the modified push-up, chaturanga, they're all optional. You can even just shift forward to plank, shift back to child's pose. Thinking about engaging your deep core muscles here. When you finish your 2 rounds, let's meet back in child's pose, gathering our breath. If we're wanting to at this time, we can explore downward facing dog, pressing our hands into the mat, lifting our hips up to the sky. Maybe walking our dog here, just checking in. Once again, this is an inversion. So making sure our head feels okay, our arms, our shoulders, our ankles, our hips. Child's pose is always used interchangeably for down dog. When we're ready, let's lower the right knee to the mat. Step forward with the left foot. So left foot In between the hands, we find that low lunge. We can use our block here if we want to. All we're going to do is come up to find that high lunge with the knee down. From here, let's inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, left arm reaches down, and we take a little bend in towards our knee. From here, maybe squeezing the glute to open up through the psoas. One more big inhale. We can bring both arms to the sky. As we exhale, we shift back to find a nice little hamstring stretch, maybe walking the foot forward. So I'm getting our hips and our lower body warmed up a little more before we move into our standing strength. From here, we can bend our left knee and just switch our legs. So right knee comes forward, left knee down. We shift into that lunge, knees in line with toes. As we inhale, we walk our hands up. Left arm reaches up to the sky, right hand down to the floor as we lean in towards our knee. Once again, squeezing the glutes, maybe pushing the hips forward ever so slightly. One more big inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, finding that nice hamstring stretch. Maybe pointing and flexing the foot, just checking in with how the lower body's doing. We often can have a lot of tightness in our hips and our hamstrings, especially if we sit a lot during the day. From here, bending our right knee, shifting forward, all we're going to do is step the left foot to meet the right. We find a forward fold. So maybe hands on our blocks, softening our knees here, turning the block in any position, or hands can come to the shins or the thighs. Maybe we want to shake the head yes or no. Maybe we want to find ragdoll. When we're ready, we'll release our hands to the floor, shin size block. As we inhale, we lift up to lengthen our spine for our flat back. Exhaling, softening and folding. So in the forward fold, there's a bigger knee bend. Inhale, lengthen, half lift. Exhale, soften and fold. From here, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms can lift up to the sky if we'd like. Exhale, we sit back into chair pose. So weights in the heels, knees in line with toes. One more big inhale to lift. Exhale, sitting back, chair pose. Moving through our full sun salutations. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, stepping back to find your plank, knees or toes. We shift forward, exhaling, options in that half series, right? We can come up to our full cobra if we like, shoulders back, or up dog, knees lift. Exhale, down dog or child's pose. Stepping to the top of our mat as we inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair pose. Hands can also reach out in front of us. Inhale, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, let's find that half lift. Exhale, soften and fold. As we inhale, finding our modified plank, shifting our body forward. Exhaling, optional chaturanga. Inhaling, optional cobra up dog. Exhaling, child's pose down dog. Stepping to the top of our mat. Forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Let's take 2 more rounds of our sun salutations. Moving with whatever options we want to here. Feeling free to add on, to omit. This is your movement for the day. So decide what feels best for the body. Make that choice. Still continuing to find our breath, 1 breath per movement. building that heat in the body. That's our goal here. When we're finished with our sun salutations, we can find child's pose. We can find down dog. Rounding out wherever we are in those sun salutations, making our way back down to our mats and finding that child's pose or that down dog, whatever feels best for us. When we're ready, we'll lower our knees down to the mat, finding that child's pose. All we're going to do is grab our strap from here, placing our hands on the front of our mat, stepping forward to find that forward fold. So we're just coming down to the mat to pick up the strap, coming into our forward fold. I'm going to move to the front of my mat. Again, if we don't have a strap, we can use a piece of clothing, a towel. From here, reverse swan dive. We'll slowly lift our arms up to find that extended mountain, finding tension on our strap here, rolling the shoulders back and down. We step back a long step with our right foot, left foot forward, finding that high lunge. Excellent. So the back knee's bent, the heels lifted. Touch either on the left side of the closet. Nope, that's not it. Left side of the closet. Yeah, if you walk to the back by the weights, by the bars. As we inhale, let's lift and lengthen. As we exhale, can we pull the shoulders back and down, pulling on that strap in front or in back of the body, whatever feels best. Lifting our heart to the sky, inhaling to lift, exhaling to sink down. Taking one more big breath. This time, pulling that strap to the front of our body. We drop our right heel, coming into warrior two. The arms simply just reach out. So the band comes to the chest, the strap comes to the chest, the left knee is bent, right leg's long. We can find some knee bends. Make sure our knees are happy. From here, all we're doing is flipping that left palm to the sky, reaching back to find reverse warrior. So from here, maybe our hand walks up our strap a little bit. We can also take the strap around the low back with the right hand or the left hand. Left arm to sky. One more big inhale. Exhaling, coming back to our warrior two. Maybe the arms walk long. The strap helps us here in this pose to keep the arms in the same level. Taking one more breath. From here, we slowly lift the heel of the right foot, coming back to our high lunge, keeping our arms nice and long in that T position. We're moving into warrior three with airplane arms. So arms are coming out to the side, pressing into our left leg. We slowly shift forward, lifting that right leg off the mat, finding our strength and balance. If we want to add on to this here, we can take the strap behind us as well, maybe folding it, and the arms can roll back, pulling on the strap, finding a little chest expansion as well. Finding our balance, finding our breath. In warrior three, the foot just needs to be hovered off the floor. It doesn't have to be a big lift. Holding for one more round of breath. When we're ready, dropping our right foot to the floor in that warrior one stance, straightening our left leg. The feet are a little closer. Warrior ones, usually there's a long stance and there's a closer warrior one stance. So a little short warrior one stance. We straighten the left leg. Hands come behind us with the strap folded if it's not there already. Rolling our shoulders back. We find that hinge coming into our pyramid pose. If we want to, we can float our arms up and back a little bit to deepen that stretch in the chest and the shoulders. You decide how far you want to hinge, how far you want to lift the arms. Left knee is soft. Finding our breath here. Again, the head is below the heart, so being mindful of how far we're coming forward. Holding for one more round of breath. As we slowly come up, bend the knee. We'll release the arms, bringing the strap to the front, stepping the foot forward, and we can shake it out. We're just going to move through our sequence on the other side. So from here, we reach the arms long. We can fold our hands on the strap, or we can grab in so that it's narrow. Arms lift up to the sky, shoulders back, finding that tension between the shoulder blades. Left leg steps back for a high lunge. So bracing for balance, hips forward, back heel lifted. As we inhale, we lift. As we exhale, we find those cactus arms, front, or if we want to, we can pull it back behind us. Up to you, whatever feels best. Lifting our heart to the sky. Moving at our own pace. We'll take one more round of breath as we sink down into that high lunge. From here, left heel drops. We open to find our warrior two on the other side. So right knees bent, we can bend the knees side to side. If I've friends on Zoom, just looks like this. So we're holding that strap right at our chest. And the strap, you don't have to have the strap. You can do all this without it. Core is nice and strong. Front knee is bent. We flip the right palm, reach the left one back to find that reverse warrior. Again, we can grab up on the strap and pull it, wrapping the arm behind our back. Holding for one more round of breath. As we exhale, coming back to our warrior two. So the arms just change, that's it. From here, rotating the hips, lifting the left heel, coming back to our high lunge. Deciding what we want to do with our arms, maybe folding that strap, bringing the hands behind us, pulling on the strap to roll the shoulder blades back. As we hinge from the hips, coming up into our warrior three. I like holding the band in warrior three. It helps me find a little more balance even and stability. Left foot's hovered off the floor. Heart is still lifted. Head is still above the heart. Finding our breath. One more round of breath here. As we step the left foot in, we come to that short warrior one stance. Chest lifts up. Right knee is bent. We then straighten the right leg, hinge from our hips, finding that pyramid pose, deciding how far we want to come down. Maybe adjusting the feet distance. And then if we want to, we can slowly bring those arms up and overhead to deepen the stretch for the chest and the shoulders. Holding for one more round of breath. And then when we're ready, we'll slowly come up. Step the left to the right and shake it out, shake it out. Awesome job, y'all. You can set your strap down. We've got one more balance pose we're going to do today, standing before we bring it down to the mat. From here, let's shift our weight to our left foot, bringing our hands to heart center. We lift the right heel off, just seeing how that feels for balance. And then when we're ready, we lift the right knee, flexing through the right foot. Bending our left knee a little bit to sink. We're crossing this foot over for that figure four stretch. We can also cross the ankle, and then we can sit back down into it. So nice figure four stretch, also known as standing pigeon pose, making sure that that foot is above the knee. And then we can hinge from our hips, pressing our hips back a little bit. Hand position wherever it feels best. Maybe checking to make sure our hips are stable and even. As we lean in towards that right knee, we can deepen the stretch for the glute, specifically the piriformis. Holding for one more round of breath. And when we're ready, we'll slowly come up and release. Other side. Excellent. You can roll out your left ankle. Switching sides here, so we'll shift our weight to our right foot. Hands come to heart center to start. We lift the left heel, we lift the left knee, flex through the left foot, and then find the cross wherever it feels best. Ankle shin is an option. From here, we just sit the hips back. Making sure if we are in this position that we're checking our hips again to make sure they're in the same plane versus dumping one hip into the other. Checking in to see how this leg feels, how this side feels. Holding for one round of breath. And then when we're ready, we'll slowly come up, releasing our left foot, rolling out our right ankle. Awesome job, y'all. When you're ready, let's inhale, lift to the sky. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Stepping back to find our down dog or child's pose. Deciding which one feels best for us today. This is going to be our last down dog of the day. We're moving into our deep stretching with our strap. So when you're ready, let's lower to the knees, finding child's pose. And then we'll slowly walk our hands up towards our thighs. Excellent job. And then from here, shifting over to our seated position. All right. Crossing our legs in that Sukhasana if we'd like, or we can extend in front, or we can bend the knees. I feel like extended or crossed might feel the best for this. When we're ready, we'll grab our strap. We're going to do cow face pose. So this is an option, a great stretch for the shoulders. So from here, I'll show you what it looks like without it. We'll take our left arm up to the sky, left hand reaches back, right hand reaches under. We can grab our fabric if we don't have a strap, but I love the strap in this pose. So taking that hand behind you, left arm up to the sky. And then from here, you'll just walk those hands down. Walk your hands down the strap together. So if you can see mine in the mirror, my friends here in person. We're just walking the hands closer together, feeling that nice release in the shoulder. Only as close as it feels good for us. If we want to, we can also do the stacked legs, fire log position. That doesn't feel good for my hips, but you can do that with your legs here as well. Trying to keep the chest up. And then when we're ready, we'll release and switch on the other side. If you are sitting crisscross, I encourage you to do this. Switch your legs. And then from here, we'll move to the other side. So left hand walks down our strap, and then right hand meets it. If you're like me and you have one side that's really close together and one side that's really far apart, that's normal. My hands here on this side are not as close as on the other side. Trying to sit up nice and tall here. Taking one more round of breath. And then when we're ready, we'll release. Awesome. From here, taking our legs out in front of us, nice and long. Flexing through our feet, softening our knees. We'll find our strap once again. As we inhale, we lift nice and tall, rolling shoulders back. As we exhale, we take our strap towards our feet. If we want to, we can grab underneath the feet and we can just walk it down as far as we want to. So from here, maybe we want to walk and use that strap to pull on it to bring our chest closer towards our thighs. Again, softening the knees as much as it feels good for us. This is a big hamstring and lower back release. When we're ready, we'll slowly walk ourselves back up. On taking out our left foot out of the strap, keeping it under our right foot, making sure that the straps are even. From here, all we're going to do is bend our left knee into our chest, keep this right leg out as we use it as a brake to slowly lower down onto our backs. And then from here, we can take the left foot to the floor. We'll bring the right leg high. Once again, moving into some more hamstring work here. So placing that strap, that cloth towel, whatever it is, under the ball of the foot, flexing through the foot, softening the knee as we pull the leg into the body. Only as much as it feels good for us today. Knee as soft as it feels good. Focusing on keeping the sit bones on the mat. So noticing that if the sacrum lifts up off the mat, we want to keep it down here in this hamstring stretch. We can stay here if this feels good. If we want to explore a little more hip opening, we can slowly let our right leg fall across our body or to the side, the same side, the right side. We'll do the other side in a second. So maybe the straps move to that right hand. Knee can also stay bent. So if we want to bend the knee, if we want to straighten the left leg, it's up to us. And then when we're ready, we can take the leg across to the other side. So we'll bring the leg into the center line, right leg, and then over to the left. Right arm comes out to the side as we take, I like to take a little hip shift, and then we can bring that right leg across. Once again, bending our knee if it feels better for us today. And also remembering that we have our block. So our knee can also, or our leg can also come to that block. Finding this nice spinal release, maybe looking in the opposite direction. And when you're ready, we'll slowly bring the leg in back to center. All we're going to do is switch our strap. So I like to take the right leg high, bend the left knee, and then bring it up to meet it. Just do a quick switch in the air. And then from here, we'll go into that hamstring stretch to start on the left side. So right foot can be down on the mat. Right leg can also be extended. Flexing through our left foot, pressing into the strap as we pull it towards our body. Finding that hamstring stretch that feels best for us. When you're ready, if you want to, you can take that leg out to the left, finding that external rotation. Maybe the right leg extends, only coming down as much as it feels good for us today. Feeling free to bend the knee. And then when we're ready, we'll slowly bring the left leg to the center line. Again, I like to extend my right leg, shift my hips a little bit left before I take the left leg across and then the left arm out. Once again, we can find our block. When you're ready, we'll slowly bring the left knee back to center. We can bend our knee and we can slowly take our strap out, setting it to the side, maybe bending both knees, bringing them into the chest for one last little rock side to side. Taking any last and final poses that we feel our body is wanting or needing today. And then whenever we're ready, we will meet for our final relaxation and whatever rest pose feels best for you. So again, lots of options: feet on the mat, knees in, feet together, knees open, legs extended, seated on our sides, on our bellies, whatever feels best for us today. Taking these last few minutes to maybe close your eyes, shifting your focus inward once again, and bringing it back to your breath. Maybe back to your intention that you set for yourself at the beginning of our practice. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing that awareness back into your body, into your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees into your chest, rolling over onto your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow. Just helping our blood pressure, our heart rate adjust. And then at our own pace, we can slowly press ourselves back up with our other hand, coming back to a seated position. Sitting up nice and tall, we'll take one more collective breath together. As we inhale, arms reach up to the sky. As we exhale, we bring our hands to our heart center. We end our practice by saying something that simply means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste. Thank y'all so much for practicing with me today. For folks in person, there's wipes over here. I hope you'll have an awesome rest of your week.